Hi, this is Kristina from NWKS Radio 97.9 FlyOver Country. I have Jaret Ray Reddick on the phone with me today, and Jaret is visiting with us about all the new stuff he's got going on and releasing new songs, and you're just going, aren't you, Jaret?
You know, it is a crazy time, but it's a lovely time. And yes, just out there, really pounding the pavement still, I think it keeps me young.
It keeps you young. Well, I think you are a goer. We talked last year, and you just go. You've been in your punk rock band for a while, and now you're doing this Texas country thing, which is awesome. You're the voice of Chuckee Cheese. You do some other voiceover stuff, but you're really focusing, on your music this year, it looks like.
Absolutely, yeah. Bowling for Soup, turning 30, is keeping me really busy this year. Our biggest record, Hangover You Don't Deserve, is turning 20. So we're staying on the road pretty much most of this year. I've got scattered shows here and there in July and August, and then again in November, doing some country. But for the most part, this is a big Bowling for Soup year and super busy. But I got a new single out called Lone Stars. It's doing really, really well. And, I got a bunch of new songs recorded. And so I'm hoping to have a new country record out early next year. And I'll really be focused on touring and doing the country thing.
Mm-hmm. And I saw you're going on tour with our friends Kinfo at the end of the year.
Yes. And we're very excited about that. That Kinfo is kind of the first band that I met. And we met at the Texas Country Music Awards the first year that I was doing this. It's been 2-3 years ago, and we really hit it off. Got to be big friends, and it's just always been the conversation of, hey man, we should do something together. Let's do something together. And finally, we managed to pull it together, and we're making it work. So yeah, November, middle part of November, we'll be out with Ken Fo and Paige Lewis doing a couple of. I guess not quite a couple of weeks, about 10 days, I think, out there. And I'm really looking forward to it. I love those guys so much.
How can you not love them? They're lovable guys.
I know, right?
Like, I love them. I think they're amazing.
They're such a lovable bunch and such an entertaining band and so much energy.
They put on such a great show.
They really do. They're just, one of my favorite bands to watch. And, I'm excited. One of the things about being in a band that tours a lot is you get to watch your friends play every night. And so I'm spoiled in Bowling for Soup. I've got to see some of the best pop punk bands in the world, 100 times. And so now that I'm doing this country thing, I get excited when we're playing with these artists that I love so much, because I get to be a fan and I get to play on stage.
Right. So, do you feel like, when you describe what you like for music, do you feel like you are just eclectic, or are you leaning towards one more genre, or what makes you like the music?
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely all over the place. Like, there used to be, I remember the question used to be like, what would I be surprised to see in your iPod, or whatever, on your whatever.
Right.
But, and that, what's funny is that, before I was doing country, I would say, well, the thing is I listen to mostly country music, and I think that was what would surprise people. But, I love a little bit of everything. I love, of course, I love the genre that I play in Bowling for Soup, and I love Texas country. I love old Willie Nelson, organic country. And, but, there's new music that I like. Sometimes my kids will listen to something, and I'll, a lot of times I'm not crazy about it, but sometimes I am. I love hip hop. I love old school hip hop, and I really love Eminem. And so, yeah, it's really, really all over the place.
It really is. And you see more and more of the crossover now. You're doing both, yourself, but you also see other people doing it. It's just more of a thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. I think back to, I'm an 80s kid. And when I think back to that time, I think back to about, whatever kind of music you listen to, that was sort of your thing. So that's who you hung out with, and that's how you dressed, and that's that's sort of what formed your clique. And it was weird to listen to the other kind of music, or to wear the other shirts, or to dress a certain way. That has just all blurred, and I love that for my own kids, who are 21, 18, and 11. They've grown up at a time where it just doesn't matter. You can listen to whatever you want, and nobody says anything, and that's the way it should be anyway. But I think the fact that we just have access to so much, back then you had to really make exactly. You had to make decisions, back in the 80s as to like, okay, I'm going to spend my money on this because just turning on the radio, you were only exposed to 20 songs a week, so you had to really try and love the music that she liked, and so now we just have so much at our fingertips. It's all right to love everything.
That's the truth. And I think I've talked about that too. I mean, the on-demand, you can listen to so many different things. And we've talked about this here. It's like, okay, you go out, you spend your money, like you said, you spend your money on a CD or cassette or whatever you're spending it on, and you've spent well-earned money on that, right? You go to the music store, you look, and that's what you listen to for weeks. Front and back and over and over, and you knew every song by heart, and you knew what order it was in.
Right.
And it's not like that anymore.
Yeah, isn't it funny how when you listen to a song that you used to love back then, your head automatically goes to what the next song should be, and then when it doesn't happen, it's almost like, right. And so I will sometimes just go back and listen to an album. I will admit, I have always sort of been a bit of a short attention span guy. Like I was pretty, I just understood the whole thing where fans were like, hey, I just like the singles on these albums or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, but I want you to like all my stuff, but I get it. I just like the singles too.
Well, right. Well, when you used to buy the singles. Remember when you used to buy the singles?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Remember those little cassettes?
Yes.
Just in like the paper? Yeah.
Yes.
My
first one was Warrant Cherry Pie. That was my first single.
That's awesome. Yeah. You're a late 80s kid too.
I am.
So, yeah, that's a good one right there.
I know, right? I mean, if only I had it, it'd be like so nostalgic. This is Kristina. You're listening to FlyOver Country 97.9, and we are talking to country artist Jaret Ray Reddick.
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny. I wish I would have. It's so, I knew I would, but I kicked myself because I one day just I sort of bit down on a towel and threw all my cassettes in the trash, and I bit down on a piece of wood and I threw all my CDs away, and it's like, and then I was managing these young girls a few years ago, and the lead guitar player walked in and she had a Walkman, and she was just like, yeah, I'm really into cassettes now, and I'm just
I've heard that too.
I know, who would have thought that would come back? Like it's
the
such
sound
an
is so terrible.
Yeah, and it's just an inconvenient medium, like
right.
I have to rewind this to hear. I got to wait, and then if it goes too far, But I don't know. I needed the closet space.
Right. Well, I still have all my CDs in a tub. I do look at it every once in a while when I'm cleaning out this area, and I'm like, do I really need this? Probably not, but I'm still holding on to it.
I know. I got rid of everything except for like any of like my favorite band CDs, like stuff that I know you can't. I mean, it was hard to get then, so you're never going to get it now. And then all the local bands, that we grew up playing with and stuff, like any of that stuff I kept. So, but yeah, I'm super stoked that we don't have to do cassettes anymore. I like the fact that you can just ask. I have to spell her name because she's right over there.
Right. I get that. Yep, I get that. That's what I do at my house too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I like the fact that I can just ask her to hear a song. It's funny because I'll just be. I mean, even my own stuff. If I'm practicing for a show, I'll just tell her to play such and such by me, and she plays it. I just play along with it, and I'm just like, oh, okay. There's a refresher, and it's just like, gosh, convenient.
That's not weird to listen to yourself?
I think it was when I was a kid, but it's funny because people will say, I think I've been recorded so much that it very seldom bothers me to hear my own voice, if that makes sense. Like, I think a lot of people hear themselves like recorded or whatever. And I'm sure you're the same way because you have to listen to your voice more than anybody because you're, cutting liners and stuff. And that's sort of how I'm the same way. And so, but I remember being really annoyed by my voice when I was a kid. And so I certainly understand it. But
I tell people, when they would come in to cut commercials or whatever, and they're on air, well, I don't like my voice. I'm like, you know what? Nobody likes their own voice. Yeah. I've yet to find one person who says, I love the way I sound.
Yeah. If it's going to be anybody, it's going to be like Morgan Freeman or somebody, like they're just like,
he probably doesn't even like his own voice.
Yeah, it pays the bills. I love it.
Right.
Hey, did you know that the dude James Earl Jones? Like he got kicked out of acting class because the teacher said his voice was annoying, and then he became Darth Vader in the voice of CNN.
Didn't I read somewhere that he had a stutter as a child, and that's
maybe
why
that's what it was too.
He speaks so clear.
Yeah, and he became one of the greatest voices of all time.
Right. Yeah, he is
one of the greatest.
Yeah, you don't know. So tell me, okay, so you grew up listening. So you think growing up you were what? What was your genre? We say it defines us as a kid, but
I was a hair metal kid. So I was listening to whatever my brother listened to until I found Motley Crue, and then and Ozzy Osbourne, and that completely changed my life. And so really, that just progressed into heavier and heavier music until I heard punk rock, which, is sort of backwards, but I heard punk rock after I had been into metal for a long time. And it changed my life again and literally just changed the course of everything. And then that would be what I would sort of radio friendly those kinds of songs. Right. And that became pop punk, which is the genre that we play now. And that's, what I've been doing for 30 years now.
Right.
And so it's funny. I can pinpoint the 3 times that music is, I've just changed course, and I think music is so cool, but I do enjoy listening to some of that stuff that I used to listen to, and then listening to, things that my parents used to listen to. And I like being all over the place. It's a little bit like me talking.
Well, I think it keeps life interesting, and I think honestly, for me, it's whatever mood I'm in. That's what I want to listen to. Whatever matches my mood, or maybe I want to be in a different mood, or maybe you know what I mean. Like it just is, I guess, for me, or what I'm doing, or to pump myself up, or whatever. That's one thing music can do is help with whatever emotion you're feeling, for sure. This is Kristina. You're listening to FlyOver Country 97.9, and we are talking to country artist Jaret Ray Reddick. So, country music, and you live in Texas, and you're doing the Texas red dirt scene, and do you absolutely love it?
I do, yeah. I have been doing Bowling for Soup for so long, and I've been in and out of the popular side of that, the radio side of that, and just the industry, and I'm very, very well versed in how the pop radio works and all of that, and just how that media works and all, and we've been self-sufficient since 2009, and so I really, when I made this country record, and I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna go to radio stations to try to do this. I was a bit weary because I had a bad taste in my mouth from the whole pop thing. It's just a really gross world. And what I found is that the artists, the radio stations, the venues, the promoters, the press, it's just all a bunch of really great people. Like, I have not met anyone who wasn't awesome, and everybody supports everybody. And it's so my personality, because I'm a build you up guy. Like, I am definitely, and I'm very positive. I'm a really positive person. And so I have just found this second home, and so honestly, when I made the first record, Just Woke Up, I didn't really know what I was going to play a few shows or whatever, but I got a band together, and I got into this world, and I was just like, this is where I want to be. I want to be here too. So
Right.
I take it very, very serious, and I work really, really hard. I'm definitely not just dipping my toe in.
Right. Well, and I agree with you. I feel like everybody that I've met in this in the Texas red dirt country world has just been the nicest. Like, and I'll always say, oh man, they were the nicest, and it was such a great, and it was so wonderful, and they're so nice. And, I don't think I've met one person that I'm just like, ugh, I would never want to, you know what I mean? Like hang out with them,
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. I 100% exactly the same. And it goes from, the younger bands to the guys that are, are waving the flag the highest.
Mm-hmm.
It's even like, again, my experience with Kevin Fowler and Corey Morrow and
mm-hmm.
some of those guys, and I already knew Casey Donahue and Randy Rogers and stuff, but
mm-hmm.
everybody that I've met, just so gracious and awesome.
Yeah, just very nice, very nice. So if someone wants to see your show, like, are you going to be anywhere close? I know, you're going to be, for Bowling for Soup is going to be up here.
Yep.
But what
Bowling
about
for Soup's coming up close to you guys?
Yes, at the Fox Theater. If you need tickets, he still has a show for that in Hayes.
Yep.
And that's just in a couple weeks. But what
so,
about?
Yeah, we're coming up. That's actually the start of our tour, actually. And so
I think that's so awesome.
Starting it in Hayes, Kansas, and then we're coming back after we do Kansas City. We're coming back for another one. We got a show in Pittsburgh, Kansas. I'm not sure how far that is.
It's pretty far from us. Yeah.
Okay, so that's on that Kinfo tour. So I think that's about as close as we come. But I'll do better in 2025 and get up there, and we'll have some fun.
Yes, we would love to have you up here. That would be so fun. I know you've seen our sister station. You came up and saw Josh Rosner beginning of the year, I think, at the Marshall. Yeah. And I was jealous. I was like, really? I'm like, you couldn't have went 3 more hours to see me.
Yeah, well, that was just on a radio tour or whatever, and I should have. But next time, I'm going to make it a point to say, hey, I want to go to Colby, Kansas, and see Kristina.
That's right. That's right. You have to. That'd be so fun. Well, where can people find you, Jaret? Where can they find your music? Where can they find you on social media? I know you do all kinds of stuff on social media. I see you active there all the time. And then, are you still doing your podcast too?
Yeah, so you can find me at JaretRayReddick.com, and that's got all my shows and my merch and all of that stuff. I still do my podcast and radio show called Rockstar Dad Show, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it started out as me and my drummer from Bowling for Soup talking about being dads, but it kind of gets into music and really whatever else we talk about. And yeah, I'm very active on social media. I like to make people laugh. So JARET 2113 is where I am everywhere except TikTok. That's just Jaret Reddick. And I would it's pretty easy to connect with me on all of that stuff. I'm fairly good at responding. I do my best. So, again, at country shows, if you want to come say hi, I'm real easy to find. I don't hide. So, I would love to meet some of y'all.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm sure everybody would love to meet you too. And definitely check out Jaret Ray Reddick and check out his new music, his brand new single Lone Star, and see what you think. And give him a shout out. Put them on your playlist. Because we would love to have you on there, right?
Let's do it.
Perfect. All right. Well, Jaret, thank you so much for visiting with me. We appreciate you, and can't wait to see what you do next. You're such a busy guy, and we will be following you and watching you and playing you right here on 97.9 FlyOver Country. Let's listen to Jaret Ray Reddick's new song right here on FlyOver Country 97.9. This is Jaret Ray Reddick, Lone Star.
We were both born and raised under a Texas sky, and they'll bury us here on the day we die. I found you and you found me when we needed each other most. and I ain't never letting go. Whatever we fight through, as far as the eye can see, I'll make sure I'm right there where you are. Long as I've got you and you've got me, we'll always be, but never really be lone stars. Lone stars. Never forget that summer, that border town we found. Way too much tequila, but not enough to slow us down. And there were fireflies and perfect views, starry nights and new tattoos. Es como si esas noches were made for me and you. Whatever we fight through, as far as the eye can see, I'll make sure I'm right there where you are. Long as I've got you and you've got me, we'll always be, but never really be lone stars. Lone stars. This love of ours, if it's a crime, go on and arrest us. I do the time, every time I swear. And I'd never have to ask you to come back to Texas, come back to Texas. You ain't going anywhere. Whatever we fight through, as far as the eye can see, I'll make sure I'm right there where you are. Long as I've got you and you've got me, we'll always be, but never really be. 'Cause I've got you and you've got me, so we'll always be, but never really be lone stars. Lone stars. Lone stars. Lone stars will never really be